Hello, people of the internet, and welcome to a special review by myself and Mr. Ratster Tweets. How are you, Ratley?
Oh, I am. I'm not so bad. I'm just sat here in the usual spot with some things to say about some things that you're here with. You know.
Yes, awesome stuff, mate.
I didn't really make much sense, did it? I'm off to a flying start with my words are flowing freely today.
Well, we did promise on a couple of episodes ago that we were going to stop and have a coffee. You got your coffee there, my friend? Excellent. Coffee and a chat. So that is what we're going to do. We're going to coffee and a chat around some things that have been released recently. So Mr. Ratley has picked himself up some of the Bang & Olufsen Portal headphones that you can see on the Terminator's head behind him. So they're obviously an incredibly expensive pair of headphones. Very, very nice headphones. And so what Chris wants to do is kind of go through and give everybody his impressions on the headphones. But what he's decided to do to really give a kind of a broad idea across it is he's going to compare these Bang & Olufsen headphones with the Xbox wireless headsets, the one that, there they are, the one that Alan reviewed a little bit a few episodes back. Also the SteelSeries Arctis 9X, which is actually what I have, and what Chris has there as well, and also the Astro A50s. So a good... people are going to want to know why he's got this many headphones. Just don't ask. But it's going to be a really nice idea to kind of maybe just sit down. I'm going to ask him a few questions and just see if we can get to the root of really which way is best to go in these headphones, because they've got all of them have got a lot going for them, haven't they, Gratley? So I think over to you, my friend, really. So
well, where do you want to start? I guess it's like, you know, what should we start with? Do you want to start with the star of the show, or shall we leave that till last? What do you think, Craig? What would you like to do, sir?
I think it'd be good to go through each of the headsets. I think we start off with the where should we go? I reckon the Xbox headsets first, and we'll talk
official
about,
Xbox bad boys.
Official Xbox bad boys. Yeah,
these bad boys.
We'll talk
right.
about those
Okay,
first.
cool.
So I guess with this first question, I think we'll go through question by question, sort of generally across the board with all of them, just trying to keep it as fair as we can. So I guess first with that one is the build and the materials really on that.
Cool.
One.
Yeah, so I will say this about the Xbox ones. I won't go quite as in-depth on these because Alan did a good review on these on our pod a while back, and a lot of what I would say would just echo what Alan has to say, but I will just cover sort of just for the purposes of comparison today with what we've got here. So it's all in one place and you can get things. So if we just start with build, these are the Xbox Wireless headsets. So key things with build, they're a full polycarbonate build, so plastic, if you know what that means. Plastic headband, plastic all round, like you've got the little mic there. Leatherette ear cups and headband. Very, very clear, these aren't leather, these are faux leather. And overall, it's a really solid little headset. It is the cheapest of the bunch, and I think when it comes to build quality materials, that's the one place where the Xbox headset really sort of shows the price difference, because it's definitely in terms of like the materials on your ear cups and your headband. Whilst they aren't bad, and I certainly don't want to sit here and tell you that this is a cheap headset and it's like the materials definitely feel a little bit below the other headsets we've got in the review. Again, just to reiterate, that's not to say they're bad and it's not to say they feel cheap. They are definitely, in that respect, if you have to be completely brutal with it, they are definitely the cheapest feeling off the bat. But just let me be very clear about this. These are solid headphones, right? This band is really good, nice clicking feeling every step you do. This feels really, nothing feels loose or squeaky or rattly. It's just they do, compared to what we've got here. And let's be fair. Let's be very fair as well. We'll come to price later. These are the only non-premium headset in the review. Okay, so let's be very clear there. So
I think, like you say, that does very much echo a lot of what Alan said, I think, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, where do you want to head to next? Which ones do you want to go to next?
Well, let's talk about the Astro A50s. Now, mine are Gen 3, but they share almost everything with the Gen 4s. If you're talking about build materials and qualities here, so again, plastic predominantly, but there are metal parts here and there. When it comes to the ear cups, one thing I'll say is these are like a velour covered ear cup. So any Zaf Brannigan fans out there will know it's velour. Not nice build overall, I would say. The mic is a fold down mic, feels a bit wobbly and shaky. That's probably one thing about this is these feel a bit wobbly and shaky throughout. And considering these are the second most expensive of the headsets, they don't feel necessarily as premium as I would like for the money you spend on them. Are they poorly made? No. Do they feel like they're worth £300? I think,
yeah.
But they are
It's a heck
like
of a price point.
Yeah, like they do have some premium features, like the removable ear cups are quite nice and things like that, and they're pretty easy to replace. So there's some good stuff. Build quality overall is very strong. The materials are nice, like it is good solid plastic. But they, again, if we be very fair comparing to the Xbox headset, these certainly feel a little more creaky than the Xbox headset does. Again, not saying that they're bad, but they just certainly feel a little bit. But they are the sort of more like, yeah, they've got the swiveling cup, so they will be a little bit more less rigid than the Xbox ones.
A bit more give in them.
Yeah, they're designed to work slightly differently and fit slightly differently. So yeah, again, not saying they're bad, just a little bit like that. I think we'll move on to the Steel series.
Yes, sounds good.
These bad boys
I
here.
have a personal experience with these ones.
You do have personal experience, so you can chime in on these as well if you feel there's anything. So in terms of build, I actually quite like a lot of the build component. Like the headband is very solid feeling. It's a metal headband with like a rubber stop on it. Again, all polycarbonate ear cups. The buttons and switches feel good, and I like the sort of material they use for the ear cups. It's very breathable. It's it feels very high quality for material. I do have a slight complaint about the way they're put together in this hinge mechanism that's on the Steel series. Mine have got a little bit of wear on one side in particular. I know that there have been problems with Steel series headsets and this particular design of Steel series headset with the swinging arm. Which is on the 9X, and I think on the Arctis Pros, the more PC side of things with the DAC, there's been a lot of problems with them there. Overall, though, they're a very nice headset, and I can't really knock them. I like this is one thing I'll say about this mic is it being retractable. Is I was always worried it'd feel flimsy and weak and things. And again, talking about the build, it retracts and extends very smoothly. There's no resistance. It's very, very well. Whatever they've done with this mic to make this work is spot on.
Yeah.
To be fair, so in that respect, not so fan of some of the switches in it in terms of build. I think the little dials are a little small and a little fiddly. The switch for muting the mic is very good, though. I will say that. So they're a good headset overall.
I think I'd agree with a lot of what you said there. I think the switch is too small. I really like the microphone. It's fantastic quality, and I love the fact it's got a little red light on it as well when you mute it, so you can tell really clearly.
We'll come to that a little bit later, I think.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And I also like the sort of the raised headband as well. So you sit the fabric across your head, and the rest is raised up a little bit because,
that's
like
quite
yourself,
nice.
a man with no hair, we've got no cushion in there, so it's always good to have a top.
Yeah, I like the fact as well that's a little bit adjustable, so you can, if you've got a slightly like smaller edge, you can just tighten them up a little bit. My only concern with that, and they are replaceable actually, those headbands, the ski bands, to be fair. My only complaint is that they do wear out quite quickly compared to the other designs we've got on here, so you'll need to replace that. It's not necessarily a bad thing. They can also be replaced for fashion if you're a fashion conscious gamer. And so that brings us to the big boys, the most expensive, the most premium of premium headsets, the Bang & Olufsen Portals. And I think let's just go straight off the bat and say, do these feel significantly more premium than anything else you said? And the simple, straightforward answer is absolutely 100%. They are.
You'd want to hope so, wouldn't you, for the price?
So just as an example, the ear cups on these are lambskin leather. They're incredibly soft, incredibly supple. Like they're beautiful thing. You've got a nice foam, well padded earband. There's the way the ear cups retract and engage is so small, so smooth, and so it's like nearly flawless, and they hold exactly where you leave them. I can't say enough good about the way this thing is put together. Even when it's plastic, the plastics are 100% a cut above any other plastics in any other headsets. There's a lot of metal, a lot of plastics. The materials are super premium, so leather and a high quality fabric, and you've got leather over the top as well. This is like proper leather up here, so not like the lambskin down here. So lambskin is exceptionally soft. So I mean, like you instantly, the second you take these out of the box, you look at them and go, all right, these are a little bit special. They feel it. Also, just on the build and that, one thing I'll say about these is you have no, like, I wish we could like give you a thing. I don't have the weights to hand because I think giving you a weight in grams is kind of irrelevant, really. These on your head are so light because of like the thing. So that's something in the build. Even though they're using premium materials, there is no weight to these at all. They are the lightest of the headsets here by a long chalk. So yeah, that's on the build there. So
I'd imagine it's probably a lot to do with the distribution of the weight across them as well. Would probably be quite.
Honestly, mate, I have absolutely no idea how they do it, but they just are incredibly light. I mean, it's I think at one point they're over 100 grams lighter than some of the other headsets here, which is crazy, you know. So and you will notice that, like, but it's amazing how solid they feel for how light they are and anything like that. So I have to give B&O some props here. Like, they are superbly built. Like, and again, we come back to that point, like you said, you would kind of hope so, given how much they cost. But I really can't stress how good they feel, like on your head and in your hand. They are an incredibly expensive, incredibly good set of headphones.
Cool. Okay, right. Next section then. So the next thing we're going to ask, it's around kind of features and controls. So like the app, the EQ, and also another thing I'm really interested in is how they charge. You know, what kind of charging situation there is. So totally. If we go through those, mate, that'd be good.
It's a really good point as well, because there's quite a sort of, especially on charging, is certainly a thing. So we'll start with the Xbox headset. Xbox headset, USB Type-C charging. It's just on the base of the one of the cups. It's super easy to plug it in, it charges. In terms of feature set, it has Xbox wireless audio, so straight to the Xbox connectivity. You do also have Bluetooth on here, and so you can Bluetooth to your smartphone or other Bluetooth device and be receiving calls on them or listening to music while you're playing, which is a really nice feature. You know, to be able to do that simultaneously is really cool. So there's no app for these per se, but there is obviously in the Xbox accessories app, which you can use to control. And actually, having said that, these are the only one of the set which work directly with the Xbox app because they're Microsoft made. Yeah. And the app is really good for these. You get the option to change your mic monitoring levels, your noise cancelling on the mic, so that just blocks out background noise. Also, you can set your you can tweak the EQ. Which is a really big plus point, and we'll come on to EQs and sounds a bit later on. But the Xbox accessories app really is. If you're just an Xbox gamer through and through, and you don't really want to be faffing about with any other device, you just want to be able to get your headset on, make any change on your console, do that. This is where you want to go because they're just so good for that. It's all in the console. It's all dealt with in that one experience. So props to Xbox for that. It's a really nice little set. That
fantastic.
Moving on to the Astros. So in terms of features, these are actually one of the lightest weight of the features. Now, you can do a lot of the other stuff, like you can EQ them and stuff, but it's all done through the Astro Command Center app, which is, to be honest with you, not the best experience. To give you an idea of how not the best experience, when I went to update these so they'd work with my Series X, which they will do, they don't use Xbox wireless audio, and they used to, on the One X and previous Xboxes, they use an optical cable to pull the audio, and obviously there was no optical port on the Series X, so these now are going via USB audio, so it had to be updated. Now I downloaded the Astro Command Center app from Astro's website, and I went, I want to update my headset, and it just went, nah mate, there's no updates for them, is there? Nah. And I was like, well, I'm pretty sure there is, because I can't use them with my Series X. So anyway, after struggling and failing and doing some manual updates after trawling the internet to try and find some software, because I was thinking, oh, maybe they're just that old on the software that, you know, if I give them a kick to a newer version, the software will pick them up and send them forward. Nope, that didn't work. So anyway, I find out after a while that basically there's a version of the Astro Command Center in the Windows Store, which when I download that, instantly updated the software. But it's hold on. So I've downloaded the same app twice from different locations, yet one works and one. So I have to give Astro some major grief for this. Yeah. This is, again, second most expensive headset in this bunch. Absolute garbage experience trying to do an update to make it work with the modern console. Absolute garbage. Yeah. Sort your life out, Astro, because it's not good enough. And not to mention, like I say, they're the lightest on the feature. No Bluetooth on these. These are just going to work with your Xbox.
Can you do anything with? Do you have like any mobile apps or anything like that?
So nothing at all with this. No, not that with these. There might be something coming from Astro in the future, but nothing with these. These are as they are. And on the charging port, that's another thing. You can charge these via a micro USB. But there is also this, which is also going to come into play as well with features. These are the only one of the set which aren't Xbox wireless audio, and they use a base station. Now, this is one of the older base stations. This is a Gen 3 one. Mine are Gen 3. Like I say, Gen 4's base station is a little bit improved. The headset is placed on here to charge. Okay. And so it's just got little charging connectors down here. So this has to be plugged in, takes up one of your USB sockets on your Xbox. That, again, provides the audio, etc., but also acts as your charging station. Okay. It's not a bad thing to have because it's a place for your headphones to live, but it's another thing you have to consider when you set them up.
On
the
I think
plus
for
side,
me, the fact of having a base station and a place where they live is you've always got them on charge. Because the amount of times I have forgotten to put my headphones on charge, put them on, and gone, did they've run out. I forgot to put it on charge.
There is that. And I will say this for it: the one thing about the Astro connection is because this is a separate base station, it works on a slightly different wireless frequency. Now, Phil's talked about this before. It means that 10. Well, in fact, no, straight up, you get a far better range with these for some reason than any other sets here. Not that you need a massive range when you're talking about, you're having your thing. The big one for me there, though, is that, like, for example, with my A50s, if I move around my house because I want to go make a coffee, I tend to find that my Astros will hold the connection better than any of the other headsets. So that's just a small thing to consider. So one feature I would say is quite nice. The fact that you do have the base station gives you a slightly better range on your headset for when you're going to do things like make a coffee or, you want to run to the loo but not take your headset off, so you mute your mic. Let's not pretend. Let's not pretend that we don't do it. All right. So those kind of things. But any little task you might have to run, where you go let the dog in or whatever. Better chance of holding your connection, not having to reconnect with the Astros. So they're base station now. Okay, so it's a big talking point.
Good stuff.
Then we go on to SteelSeries.
Yes.
So SteelSeries, again, Xbox wireless audio, so it connects straight to your Xbox. It works perfectly well. There's nothing wrong with that. It has some features. We talked about the we've got Bluetooth on here as well. So this will connect via your Bluetooth to your phone or your PC or whatever other Bluetooth device you've got. You can take calls on it. You can also just use it to listen to music on. So again, going back to the Xbox headset and this, you could also, if you were just going to use these if you wanted to, you could use them as a music headset as well. In the same vein as the Portal, I guess, in that respect. But like that, a lot of respect. SteelSeries engine has just been changed to something else. I don't know why they've changed it, but they've called it something else now. I don't know what.
Why not
good
keep
game
it fresh,
or something.
Bit of rebranding.
Yeah. SteelSeries GG, good game. It's like, oh, great. So plus points. It allows you to fully EQ the headset, which you can do on the Astro one as well, like I said. But it has to be done via the PC. So you'll need a PC to do it. They need to be plugged into the PC to do it. Nice plus point to this, though. It's very easy to be having them connected to your Xbox, be playing a game and doing your EQ balances for that game whilst you've got them on. So I like that a lot. There's no you've got a live preview on the app. It does that very well. It's very good. Again, updating software was a bit of a bind on these. I had to update them when if you remember, we got the Series X. There was a lot of problems with them dropping out and not connecting and causing other problems. The update was just a pain. It was just a pain. I had to reinstall SteelSeries engine twice to get it to work. So overall, their feature set is strong. I love the fact it's got Bluetooth simultaneous audio as on the Xbox headset. I like the SteelSeries engine for the EQ stuff. It's still not the best experience because it's just a bit of a pain in that respect. So it's a good headset overall in that respect, but certainly not like the best of experiences.
Cool. On to the B&Os then.
On to the B&Os. Now, so these, in terms of feature set, there's loads on these. You've got ANC on them, so active noise cancellation. So if you're in a noisy environment when you game, quite know why you'd be in a noisy environment when you game. I don't know.
Well, if you've got kids running around or something like that, you need to block them out and ignore them.
Yeah, you could block out your children
through through experience or anything.
So, so if your kids were to fall down and injure themselves, you wouldn't be able to hear them crying.
Shush.
B&O Portal all the way, right? So then you've got the other things like, so there is an accompanying app where you can do things like EQ the headphones. I really like that. Well, there are some downsides to that, which I'll talk about in terms of the controls. The actual ability to go in and manually EQ it, like from your phone, super easy via Bluetooth. That is a vastly, whilst it's still not perfect, and you start to have a separate device. Okay, it's better than what Astro and SteelSeries are doing, where you have to have a PC, you have to do all that sort of stuff. This allows me to on my phone just pull up the app. I want to use that profile for different games. Maybe you settled on one you like. You just want to tweak it. You want to do this. It's great in that respect. It's really good. So I really like it. It's also got these. I will mention these like this slight like the touch control. So there's the ability to just change your noise cancellation or your what they call own voice, which is your mic monitoring, all from the headset, which is quite nice. These, I think, are the only ones you can change the mic monitoring from the headset itself. So they're quite unique in that respect. Having said that, the mic monitoring is a little low on these. So I will say that as a sort of thing going forward. Charge via USB-C. Oh, by the way, the SteelSeries, forgot to mention this. SteelSeries are USB, micro USB charging. So I'm not going to say that's crap, but that's crap. That and the portal, obviously a USB-C because they're a premium device now. If it hadn't been USB-C at this point in time, I think everybody would have been like, "Bye, dead on arrival." So yeah, they are nice in that respect. They also have a 3.5 mil input, which again. You have got on the SteelSeries. I forgot to mention that. So that's really cool. One of the big plus points to 3.5 on here, or using them via USB-C on a PC, for example, is that these will still retain all the portal features like the ANC. Quite often when you go to wired connections on any noise cancelling headset, it stops that working because it's not using the same tech. So these do have the ability to retain ANC and still use the portal and use a wired connection. So this is a big plus point just quickly if you use them on a PC. So if you use them on a PC, because these don't have to be Bluetooth and you don't need the Xbox wireless audio adapter, which you do for both the Xbox headset and the SteelSeries, whilst you can use them via Bluetooth, they sound a bit rubbish if I'm truthful, because of the way Windows works and handles audio. It's a bit crap in that respect. These work fantastically well. Just plug them in. It's a USB device. Windows picks them up like that and away it goes. So big plus point to the portal if you want to use them on multiple devices. The Astros, again, will work on PC. You just to plug the base station to PC and flick a switch to say it's in PC mode now. They work fairly flawlessly in that respect. But yeah, so these are all differences, you can expect. But I've got to say a lot of props for B&O for that. They retain the premium features whilst being able to do other stuff as well. So a lot of respect for B&O on those ones.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Cool. All right. Well, the next section we want to go into is around comfort. I think this one obviously doesn't need a huge amount of explanation for comfort. It's either comfy or it's not comfy, I suppose. But there's a kind of a few. We've spoke to a few people out there. Different people with different size heads, different genders. Just had some questions around comfort. So. Yeah. I mean, I guess you can kind of just going through them. The main points are they comfortable? Do they fit small stroke large heads? How are they for long sessions? And also the glasses conundrum. I don't suffer with that one, but obviously there's a lot of people out there wearing glasses, yourself and Phil, and Alan, wearing glasses. That,
well, Alan doesn't wear them for gaming. He did say
not
that.
For gaming. He's not for gaming. Good point.
But even still, so if we're talking about if we talk about the portal just for a second, they are also obviously designed to be a music headset as well. So Alan might want to listen to music while he's got his glass on. Who knows? So if we talk about are they comfortable, let's just start with we'll start running through them again. We'll start with the Xbox wireless headset. Are they comfortable? Absolutely. These are phenomenally comfortable for the price. They aren't going to fit everyone's head. I will say that one of my friends actually bought a pair of these and liked them, but even on the maximum extension, they were a little too small for him. I mean, he's got a big head. I mean, he's not. To be fair, they are a little of the headsets we have here. They're probably the smallest of the headsets. Right. That's not to say they're a small headset, but if you have a bigger head, these might not be the most comfortable. These are actually will go down nice and small, so they'll fit like your younger players, female players. They're actually in that respect they're pretty flexible in that respect. You can go from most things there. And I've got to say, I'm quite impressed with the comfort. I like the fact that the ear cups are leatherette. So, like for example, they're just easy to keep clean. They over time these get grotty. Because as much as you keep your head clean, naturally your skin is doing skin things. So these are easy to keep clean long term. I like them for that. They're also nice and changeable. It's a good little headset, that I've got to say, they've thought that through, and it does fit really well. My only complaint, actually, I have one complaint about these, is there's a little bit excessive on the clamping force, as they call it, which is where it's squeezing your head. It's a tiny bit excessive on that. It's not.
Would you say you noticed that? Would you notice that over longer play sessions?
I think over long sessions, like if you were playing all day, these might become a little bit uncomfortable all day. We're talking sort of more than 4 hours. I might find these to become uncomfortable. The last one for the glasses conundrum, are they comfortable glasses? Yeah, absolutely. They fit perfectly well. Nice squishy ear pads, which gives you plenty of squish for your glasses. So I gotta say, I give them a big thumbs up for comfort. They're not the most comfortable headset I've ever worn, but they certainly are a very, very comfortable headset for not a lot of money. So yeah,
do the Astros next.
Astros next. We'll do the Astros. Again, just talking about these spongy velour pads. I'm just giving. So you got nice spongy velour at the top, spongy velour earpieces. Are they comfortable? Yes, absolutely. Do they fit large and small heads? Again, yes, absolutely. They're fairly flexible. They have also, they're one of the few which have got the rotating cups, so you can get a better fit for your head.
Mm-hmm.
There are some downsides to it. I'm going to be honest. They're not as good on the clamping force. So they don't have as good like sort of immersion in sort of. It comes under audio a bit as well, but they don't isolate your noise quite as well. But that also plays into comfort because they aren't squeezing your head. So for long sessions, these are absolutely brilliant. And I can tell that from a lot of experience. I've spent all day sessions wearing these and never felt fatigued from them. So they get a big plus point there. Are they fine with glasses? Well, I wear glasses all day, every day. So absolutely they are. They're not the best, but this is I can't emphasize how much how soft these earpieces are. They're not like the other ones are quite memory foam spongy. These are just soft. They're just kind of gently kiss your side of your head.
A little cuddle for your ears.
Yeah, it is very much a little cuddle for your ears. And I really like them for that. Although they aren't, like I said, there are downsides to that. They are very, very comfortable for longer sessions. Will they go small? Yes, they will go small. They don't go quite as small as some of the others, but they're not, again, you wouldn't have problems putting these on most kids who are gaming. To be fair, they would be quite comfortable to wear them. So again, I guess they should do. They're premium headsets, right? They absolutely should do. There's certainly, if I will say this straight off the bat, if you're not looking for a headset that puts any kind of pressure onto the sides of your head, you know this is the thing that bothers you. The Astros win hands down for comfort because they don't do that. They do have a little more pressure on the top of your head. So if you don't like feeling the weight of your headphones on your top of your head, they're maybe not the answer. So, there's a swings and roundabouts there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so Steel Series are the next ones. Overall, again, very comfortable headset. Not the most comfortable for me personally. Again, the clamping force is a bit of an issue. Predominantly at the base of my jaw / bottom of my ears. These squeeze particularly hard there. They do have a much better noise isolation because of that. So they do sound, in terms of blocking off exterior noise and also, keeping your noise intact in your headphones. These are actually one of the better choices in that respect. I got to give SteelSeries some props there. However, for longer play sessions, these are absolutely the worst of the bunch.
Right.
I don't want to sound like I'm bashing them. They're not bad per se, but they are noticeably more uncomfortable than other headsets in this review. And it's actually one of the reasons why I've been looking for an alternative, because when I have a gaming session, I tend to be on for 4+ hours. I've spent my weekends doing it, what have you. So if you're on and off your Xbox in a couple of hours, you'll probably never notice. But for me, there's certainly a discomfort around that big pressure.
Yeah, that's something I guess that I could chime in a little bit about owning those headphones. I generally don't play for long sessions at any one time. My house is quite busy. The kids always need something, or I sort of grab bits here and there. Hour here, hour there.
Absolutely.
So I don't really notice that in terms of headphones. There, I find them perfectly comfortable. I do get what you mean. They are quite clamped down, but it is quite good for cutting the noise out. But I guess I can kind of see how they would, over a long period of time, might get a little uncomfortable because they do feel quite heavy.
It's also the way they distribute weight, I think, on that one as well. Like, it's because I think that comes back to why we were saying this headband is lovely. It doesn't have anywhere near the level of support that the Xbox headset does, the Portal does, or the Astro does. So a lot of the pressure to keep them on your head secure is pushing on the side at the bottom here on your jaw. And for me, it becomes an issue. Now, that's not to say that you're going to find them uncomfortable. It depends on you as a person. The other thing with that is I would say they're probably the least comfortable for glasses wearers, but they aren't uncomfortable for glasses wearers. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I really like them from the point of view they fit well and they're not bad. I mean, I certainly wouldn't have been able to put up with them for as long as I had, and they would have gone back if I weren't comfortable. First thing, if I'd have been playing with them for a couple of hours and I can't wear these, straight back to where I got them from. It'd been like, no, I'm returning them, not happy with them. But yeah, there's that respect. I mean, I do think, again, this also comes back, but as we said with the Astros, if you're not a fan of pressure on the top of your head, you don't want to feel something resting really heavy on your head. These are a much better choice because these have the predominantly the weight is going to be pushed into that clamping force on the side to hold them where they are. So whilst it's maybe not the headphone for me, it could well be the headphone for one of our viewers, listeners, just one of our people, or just anybody who's just happened to click on this review, really. So yeah, I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying, for me personally, the least comfortable of the lot by a noticeable margin, but they're not bad. Again, trying to be diplomatic here.
On to the big boys.
Brings on to the big boys at the super expensive top end, and their premium materials and their lambskin leather and all this sort of stuff. And the big question, I guess, is does that actually result in them being a more comfortable headset? And I mean, I've said this to you, and I'm not going to pretend like we haven't had this conversation. These are stunningly comfortable. I cannot stress to people who are clicking this review to find out, this, that, and the other. Oh my God, they're comfortable. They're so unbelievably light. Let's just start there. They have no weight to them. We've said this already, right? They are so light, so light. And when you put them on, this has a little clamp at the bottom here. They have this, but Bang & Olufsen have actually designed the pad on the ear cup so that it's actually curved in to give you more cushioning where it clamps at the bottom there, so that it's softer on your head there. There's you have one point of contact with the top of your head. Really, it's just up here, and the weight is so beautifully evenly balanced across the whole headset. You literally don't know you're wearing them for a long time. Wow. It takes hours before you get any kind of fatigue on wearing them. The clamping force is really good. It's very distributed over the side of the head. Like it's not in, but yes, there is more here, but it's so well done across the whole ear cup that they're I can't say enough good things about how comfortable these are. I wish all the headphones were this comfortable. That's how good they are. I've worn these for 15 hours straight and not wanting to take them off because they're that comfortable. I could quite happily sleep in these. They are that comfortable. Okay. I mean, it'd be a bad idea because I'd roll over and crush them, but they are so comfortable. I can't say enough good things about them. Of all of its strong points, the Bang & Olufsen's just blow every headset I've worn clear out of the water for comfort. Like,
fantastic,
untouchable. But
brilliant.
Again, we come back to that point of they should, right?
yeah, totally, mate, totally. Cool. Okay. So the next bit we want to go on to is about the mic quality, because obviously they've all got very different mics on them.
Yes.
It'd be really good to understand kind of how they perform, really.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, like, across the board, I think there's only really one standout here, and I won't go too deep into any of them. The mics perform pretty much as you'd expect across the board. If I had to go in order, I'd say the SteelSeries is slightly ahead on that. The Astro is probably the weakest of the other three. So, of the three with the conventional mics, I say that way, right? I'd go SteelSeries top, Xbox headset in the middle for mic quality, and then the Astros at the bottom. And then we get to the sort of, I don't know if you would call it the elephant in the room, or the odd one out, which is the Portal. And it's as you've probably noticed when you're here, and you probably know already if you clicked on the reviews, it doesn't have a boom mic. It's just it's like a traditional Bluetooth headset where it's got these mics that they call beamforming mics and da. And to be honest with you, Craig, you're probably a better person to. Well, to be fair, I've also heard it because one of my friends has got one.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on the mic? Because you listen to the mic. What do you think to it? And now, let's be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would have to say with the B&O, I'm impressed with the mic from the B&O headset, considering it isn't a boom mic.
Yes.
The way that it picks the voice up is very, very good. I can 100% agree with you that it isn't as good as the SteelSeries. Definitely not. Doesn't sound as good, but it wouldn't do. The SteelSeries is right round by your mouth. Yeah. It sounds, I would say, a little bit like it sounds like you're talking on a mobile phone.
A speaker
sound on it. Yeah, yeah. That's how it kind of sounds. So it's perfectly clear, but you can tell that the clarity just isn't there. The same as the other ones.
I will say this for it. It has one really unique, quite incredible feature that absolutely blows my mind. The clarity doesn't change regardless of your volume. And by that, I mean, like, you could shout at it and you will stay at the same clarity and volume as if you're whispering at it.
Oh, okay.
I cannot get over how it does that. Like, that is something which is mind-blowingly good. Having said that, I still think the mic is the worst of the bunch by a long chalk, by a long margin here. I mean, if you play with people who will grief you about your audio and will make your life difficult because you're not giving them great audio, I'm incredibly selfish. I'd be the guy who told everyone their mic sucks whilst having a mic that sucked, right? Yeah. But we know we've all got those friends because I'm usually that guy. So, hey, I'm going to own it. I know I'm that guy. But the reality is the mic is poor for a gaming mic. It's not bad, but it's poor compared to everything else here. So I'll be completely honest. Is the boomless mic any good? Not really. Well, yes and no, but not really. If I really had to push on it, I'm disappointed with the mic quality on that particular piece of kit, if I'm honest.
Okay, Cool.
Completely
Good
brutal.
stuff. Good stuff. No, it's good. We need to be honest with this. People are going to spend the kind of money that B&O are asking for on those headphones. That, we need to have an honest opinion, don't we, to give to them.
Yes, absolutely.
So next, just overall, generally, we want to talk about audio quality a little bit.
Yes.
So I guess the first point is, I guess this is mainly focused on the B&O headset. So does it live up to the hype? Is it noticeably better than the other headphones?
So I think I put this in because when I started to write and gather my opinions on the headset, I said I put in our group for the podcast, and which is again, if you haven't checked the podcast out, there's me, Alan, Craig here, Craig and Alan, three of them, and then there's Phil as well, all of which are into our things. Alan is very much a case of that you're an idiot for buying £450 headphones. Phil is really interested because he kind of wants to buy £450 headphones. And Alan's first question instantly was like, "Have you got any questions?" He was like, "Are they noticeably better? Would I care?" And I think the first one is, "Are they noticeably better?" Absolutely. If you are very fussy about your audio and you're just looking for a great experience, I love the sound on the B&Os. They're very, very, very good. They're noticeably better than any other headsets in this thing, even with EQing. And believe me, I've done a lot of EQing over the course of this review, like fiddling with stuff, playing with the Atmos app, playing with the Xbox app, and trying to get the best I can. And again, sound is a very personal thing. So, what I like, you might not. But if you were to listen to the B&O and not tell me they didn't sound better, I would be like, you're lying. It's just you're just lying,
or you're deaf.
Or you've got serious problems with your ears, because they are tangibly noticed better. Like it's a very, so they have they're not your typical gaming headset. I will say this, because they have a very different sound profile to most gaming headsets. The closest to them in sound profile in the bunch is going to be the SteelSeries 9X. And then you sort of move down. I think the furthest from them is probably the Xbox headset. And I'm talking about sound profile, not sound quality. I'm talking about sound profile, which is a very different thing. So maybe I should clarify what I mean by sound profile when I talk about this, because I'm using a lot of I might use some words so if I come across anything which I'm thinking is this might be
try and talk to the layman a bit.
Yeah, so
like
if you're not super into audio and you don't know about sound profiles and all this kind of stuff, the sound profile, when you get a headset out of a box, you might not know what it's pretty straightforward, really. All the sound profile is how they sound out of the box. So, for example, if you get the Xbox headset out of the box, I'll tell you now, the sound profile is very bass heavy. So if you're a kind of person who really loves their bass and just really rumbling low end bass, the Xbox headset out of the box, you'll probably just instantly hear it and go, "Oh my god, the bass! Wow!" and be totally blown away by the bass. For me, if it's too much bass, I'm just I like a more balanced and an open sound, and again, a lot brighter in that. And I think that's where the Portals sing, is the bass is it's got bass. Don't get me wrong. When I say it's nowhere near as bassy as the Xbox, that's not strictly true. It's just delivered very differently. So when you crank up the bass, there's a lot of bass, but it's more tight, more controlled, so it doesn't get as boomy or as away from the sound. So yeah, they do sound appreciatively better than any other gaming headset I've used. And I will be very clear here, there are a couple of premium headsets I haven't used, which are apparently very good. But compared to the four we're looking at, out of the four we're looking at, do the Portals perform significantly better? Oh, hell yes. Just cool. Absolutely.
So that's talking audio in general then. But let's focus, at the end of the day, these are gaming headsets.
Yes.
So gaming performance. So how does the B&O vastly outperform theirs for a gaming performance?
So it's tougher when it comes because we can talk about other entertainment in a bit. I know that. So when it comes to the gaming side of things, yes, they are appreciatively better. Again, one thing I've noticed on the B&O more than anything is how accurate they are. So in terms of positioning of audio. So if you're playing a game which requires positional audio, so COD, PUBG, Fortnite, anyone where you want to know where somebody is, for me, the positional audio is far better on the Portals than on other such devices. So again, if we're going to rank them out here, I would probably, it becomes a lot harder when you get into the mix of the other three, because there's not as tangible a difference.
Yeah.
So I would personally, for if you're going purely for positional audio, I would probably go the Astros are the second place. Then probably it's a split in a hair between the SteelSeries and the Xbox headset at that point.
Yeah,
they're both very, very good. it's very, very difficult to tell them apart. But yeah, I think Astro has a slightly wider sound stage, which helps with it, and the portals just are more accurate, probably because of the finer sound tuning. To be fair, so yes, they are better for gaming. Are they? Like, are you suddenly become a better gamer because you've got piano portals? Hell no, because I'm still rubbish. I can just hear that I'm rubbish better.
Yeah,
now.
You can hear where you got shot from.
Yeah, exactly. What I have noticed, I will say this, with talking about that, hearing things like in games where it's positional audio is important and knowing that, like being able to say, oh yeah, they came that way. You could be on the people who are attacking you a lot faster. So will they make you better marginally? Are they going to like make up for poor reflexes and shoddy aim? Absolutely not. But there is definitely a plus point. Yeah, and age, just being owned by like children.
It happens, doesn't it? So okay, so we've gone through gaming. So what about other entertainment? So movies, music. How do they perform against the others there?
So I think that in terms of music and movies, they're untouchable. Simple. Like, but compared to these we've got here, they sound absolutely wonderful. I cannot express how much joy I've had listening to music on these portals. I'm a big music lover. It's always been a big part of my life, and I listen to all sorts of music. I listen to, heavy metal. I listen to thrash metal. I listen to, movie soundtracks, gaming soundtracks. I listen to a bit of hip hop. I listen to some pop music. I'm very much a connoisseur of all musics, and everything I've put them through sounds just wonderful on them. Like they have this beautiful like control bass. Like I said, they have this like great instrument separation, a good soundstage. Again, so I've said soundstage twice here and not clarified it, just so you know what soundstage is. Soundstage refers to like how big the sound is, essentially, how wide it could get, for example. So you notice that when you're talking about sort of surround sound, like a good surround sound headphone will make something sound like it's way over here. A bad one will keep it quite close to you. So, that also applies to music. The music will feel bigger. And like in an orchestra, for example, the orchestra will feel like it's coming from more around you than just being like in front of you. And I have to say, like, the soundstage is far better than anything in here. The audio quality, they just absolutely own in terms of audio quality here. The mids, the highs, everything is crystal clear on them. They're an absolutely brilliant headset. There are better headsets. Like if you want to listen to music, I'm going to be very clear about this. If you're going to listen to music and you want a music headset, go buy a music headset. Because for this money, you can buy, the B&O do the H10s, which are a purely music headset. I promise you, they will sound better. And also, the Apple do the AirPod Max. Now, you and me both know I ain't a fan of Apple, right? And I'll lay my biases straight on the line here. Having said that, oh my God, AirPod Max are good. Those two headsets I just made, the B&O, they're two of the best ANC. Bluetooth Bluetooth headphones out there. They're both going to sound better than a portal will. Having said that, what they can't do is then link to your Xbox.
Yeah.
So there is a downside. But if you want a music headset, then I can't stress you, for 450 quid, go buy a music headset.
Yeah.
But they are still appreciably better
than
the other headsets in this range.
Okay. So kind of staying with movie and music, and I guess more going towards music, what are they like on Bluetooth? Is there any kind of lag? Is there any issues? Or
so the Bluetooth latency is one of the big things. So that's again for good for gaming on Bluetooth. So if you're using your phone for PUBG or whatever, I've noticed virtually no latency. They support aptX, which is the newer Bluetooth codec, which is a lot faster. There's unless you're being like super fussy. I mean, you are literally like checking it. They are virtually lag free. Now I expect that I've got these Bluetooth earbuds, which are Sony XM3s. They're very high-end audio earbuds. I mean, they're not like super high-end, but they're very high-end. And those are absolutely lag fest. Like you can't watch media on them because there's so much lag on them.
Right.
And I would say, again, if you compare them to say the Steel series, the Steel series have a noticeable lag for watching a movie or playing a game on your phone. There is a noticeable Bluetooth lag. You don't get that with the portals. I have to give the Microsoft one its credit here. Their lag is noticeably better than the Steel series. It's not as good as the Portal, but it's still noticeably better than the Steel
They're
series.
the opposite end of the price range.
Yeah, which is it's incredible. I'll tell you what's incredible there is, and being fair to the Microsoft one, is how good they are for the price in that respect. The Bluetooth latency. It's because of the version of Bluetooth they run as well, to be fair to them. They are they wipe the floor with the Steel series for Bluetooth performance. In that respect, whilst the Steel series has Bluetooth, it's by far the worst performer of the bunch in this particular instance. But yeah, again, if you're talking about entertainment stuff, if you're talking about like that one headset to rule them all, the the Portal just shines. It's got a great sound. It's just super easy to switch between the two. Well, that's one thing I will say, actually. We didn't touch on this when we did features and controls. I will want to mention this because we're talking about Bluetooth now as well. Although the Portal has Bluetooth, it is the only one of the headsets that supports both connections, which won't do it simultaneously on both. You actually have to switch from Bluetooth to Xbox or vice versa. Whereas with the Steel series and with the Xbox headset, you have a simultaneous connection and feed of audio. So you can be streaming music from your phone, for example, and playing a game, which you can't do on the Portal. The Portal, you have to be all from one source. And there is a reason for it, which is that the Portal has different EQs for gaming. Because B&O treat it as, why would you want the same EQ for music as you would for gaming? Which is good, but if you want that experience to be able to stream your media from your product, also the Portal isn't for you. It doesn't do that. But like I said, there's a tangible difference when you switch them over, and just covering how you do that. To be fair, and that's also because that is the only thing you can either do that via the app by clicking a button in the app. You click literally as an Xbox or a Bluetooth button at the top of the app, and you switch it over, or you just literally as a button on the side, you click it and it turns over. Simple as that.
Okay. That's nice and
turns
easy.
Over. So it's super easy, works really, really well. And it's the weird thing about it is it is always connected via Bluetooth to your phone because you can control all the stuff via the app. You just can't stream audio at the same time. And B&O have said it's to do with audio purity and making sure that you get the best experience from both worlds. But
it's fair enough. But it's a valid thing to bring up.
It makes sense, but it's certainly a thing that I know that when I first got it, I was a bit like, oh, my Steel series does that. Why doesn't this new super expensive one do it? For me personally, being a Spotify user, there's an easy workaround if I want to listen to music and play games, which is I just use the Spotify app on the Xbox. But if you're an Apple Music user, for example, you can't do that. So it's worth mentioning as well, in case that's your use case scenario. Whilst the Portals are fantastic, that's a definite. It's not a downside per se, but it's a definite something you have to be very aware of. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, great. Cool. Okay, so, I think we've gone through in pretty good detail across most of the headsets there, really.
It's taken a lot longer than I thought, but I hope I haven't waffled. I hope this has been valuable to people.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have plenty of detailing about the headphones, and I'm fiddling around trying to work on timestamps and stuff, so hopefully I'll be able to get them in, so you'll be able to jump around, providing I can get out to work, because I'm still a YouTube noob at the moment. So, but I guess that kind of noob tube, yeah. So that kind of brings us really, I guess, to this kind of summary of everything, really. So, I kind of wanted to break it down into some categories and really put you on the spot and get you to kind of give us the winners and maybe the runners up. So I guess the first one is, which is going to have the best sound quality? I think you pretty much covered it. I don't know what's going to come out, but let's say, how would you rank them from first to fourth?
So if you're going to go pure sound quality, and this is probably going to surprise some people, I think, the Portals wipe the floor for sound quality. You can't beat them in this
really?
that we've got here.
Really? Yeah,
you really can't beat them. Shocking, I know, considering how much I've just gushed about them for the last 5 minutes. But I think where it really gets surprising when you talk about, like, for me personally, when you talk about sound quality and audio quality, the ones I was completely blown away by going into this, and I didn't expect to be quite as impressed by, were the Xbox headset. I know Alan said how good they sound, and I don't mean any disrespect to Alan, because it's not just Alan. It's any reviewer tells me how good something sounds. I'm always like, yeah, well, I'll be the judge myself, because I'm a snob, right? I'm an audio snob. Yeah. And God, they're brilliant for the money. I mean, they're staggeringly good for the money, like in terms of audio reproduction. They aren't as good as the Portal. Let's just not mince our words. But oh my God, they're good. You are going to have to EQ them quite a bit though, because like I say, the EQ out of the box for me is just pretty nasty. To be fair, they come. I don't know why they've been EQ'd this way. They EQ'd with just so much bass, that it ruins the mids and the high end. So they just sound muddy and a bit rubbish, truthfully. And I was like, well, hold on, let's just have a play about with this. Because generally where there's a lot of bass, there's usually a good driver. Not always, but there's usually a good driver and a good set of speakers in there. And so I sort of got into the Xbox app, the accessories app, started tweaking it. And you've also got Dolby Atmos if you use that as well. And I mean, I was totally stunned. Totally stunned.
Cool. Okay, so I'm going to push you down this aisle, and I'm going to say you've got to give us a ranking. So number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Where do we go?
Well, in terms of what are we looking at, just like which one should
this is on sound quality. So we know the B&O are the top. They're number 1. So third, second, third,
you've got B&O the best without question. Next would be Xbox, with a lot of EQing. Don't get me wrong. If you've got your Xbox set out of the box, put them on, and you're listening going, what the hell is he talking about? Trust me, get online, find a decent EQ, pump the top end up a bit, give yourself a bit of mids. You know, they sound super good for the money. I mean, and maybe it's just the fact they are cheap that sways my decision there. Excuse me. But they sound great overall. They're really good. They've got a lovely bottom end to them. It's a bit boomy, but it's not silly. Great top end when you EQ it. Good mids. The instruments or sound separation is a little bit weak on them, but that's pretty much par for the course on most of the sets we've got here. And the sound stage is also quite limited. And again, that's par for the course on everything but the Portal, if I'm truthful.
Third
place. This is where it gets a little tighter, and it's a little bit of preference here. With some EQing, I would go with the Astro. They're a little bit fuller sounding. They've got a much better sound stage. They aren't by any means a bad headset. So talking about, like, gush about the other ones, they're a very, very, very good headset. And be clear, I used my Astros for a lot of years, super happy with them, and would super gush about them. And I think they're the sort of, you know, again, you need to EQ them a bit. They come out of the box a little bass heavy. One thing I like about the Astros, which I will sort of quickly mention, is I didn't mention in the features, they've got 3 pre-stored EQs, which are super easy to switch between because of a little click switch on the back. Whereas Steel Series have the profiles, but they're a pain in the backside because of where they're located. And then we move on to 4th place is going to be Steel Series. They don't sound bad. I do not understand what the fuss is about online from people about them. People say, oh, these are the best sounding Xbox headset. For me, they sound incredibly flat. The sound stage is quite limited. They aren't bad by any stretch of imagination, but they lack a really warm bass. They don't have it. They sound very flat, very, very dull headset. They are very strong in the mids of the headset. So in that respect, if you they'll be good for like hearing footsteps a bit better than some others necessarily. But I can't 100% go, oh my God, like I've never been blown away by the sounds on my Steel Series. My Steel Series have been adequate the whole time. For the money, like compared to the Xbox ones, they're very weak. Truthfully, very weak.
Okay. Right. Best gaming headset. Obviously, this is a different category. So not just thinking just for the audio sound quality, the all-in-all gaming headset. And I think, you know, we've already been through, you know, are they better than other gaming headsets? We've already been through these things. So go on. First place, which would you say is the best gaming headset?
Right. So it's a difficult one to say. I think if I were to look at long-term comfort, mic quality, audio quality, everything like that, I am torn between 2 at this point. And that is the Xbox wireless headset and the Astro A50. And again, let's just be very clear here. The Portal will trounce it in terms of audio quality, but it's all the other stuff.
We're talking about a gaming headset.
Exactly. Let's be talking about it like in terms of, like, I like the fact that the gaming headset's like the decent mic for communication. I don't care what anyone says. The Portal's one is substandard for it. And you would want a better audio quality for your teammates to clear instructions, you know, because it's going to be frustrating if you get to that last bit in Warzone and you're the last team left and you can't get clear instruction out because the mic isn't clear enough or whatever. So yeah, I massively knock the Portal down for that. For me, push comes to shove. If I had to pick, I would say that the Astro slightly outdoes the Xbox headset as a gaming headset, but I can't. It's so small, that margin. It's so small. So yeah. I'd say for me the Astros, then the Xbox, then the Portals, then the Steel Series. Steel Series has a better mic, but I can't get over how flat the sound is and how poor the sound stage is, especially for the money they charge. Yeah,
I think it's one of those things that, you know, if you can give your opinion based on the feature set without price playing a factor in that, people can then determine from themselves, you know, if they're saying, oh, okay, I know that this one is better for X, but it costs Y, you know, you can kind of measure that up a little bit, because there's a huge disparity in cost between them.
I think that's why I want to be really clear is like the cost, as I said, like the cost of the Steel Series is too much for what it is. That's okay, that's not strictly true. That's maybe a little bit of personal bias coming in, and that's also probably a bit to do with the Xbox headset, truthfully, but we'll come to that a bit later, I'm sure. Like, I'm sure there's a little bit more coming up about that.
So yeah, I think this is kind of just going to cap it off really with the final, you know, the final big one. It's which one would you buy? Which one out of all these headsets would you buy?
I know you want a straight one choice, right? And that's difficult.
Yeah,
I know you're going to say.
I'm going to
push it. So I'm just going to clarify before I give an answer. I'm going to clarify everything here, right? Let's just talk about the Portals in isolation. Are they brilliant. Yes, 100%. They're brilliant. They're one of the best headsets I've ever used for a lot of reasons. They are super, super comfortable. They are good long term. They're great for music. They're great for movies. They're great for gaming. They're super, super good. Here's the problem, though. Are they 450 quid? Yes, they're 450 quid, right? And that's kind of where we get stuck on these. If I had to pick one out of all of these today, if I was going to go, and say to you, if you've got money and you want to spend it on a gaming headset, which should you buy? From the experience I've had with these 4 headsets, my honest opinion is this: go buy yourself an Xbox wireless headset. Spend the least amount of money out of all these headsets here. EQ the thing correctly. It's got a great mic. It's got a good battery life. It's got things. There's only one thing I meant to mention it earlier when we talked about features and controls, and there's the only one thing I would change about the Xbox wireless headset, and it's actually one of its best features, but also one of its worst things. Is when we talked about the features, we had the dials on the side, and then Alan covered this. And my only one gripe is there's no way to lock those dials in place. Because when you pick up the headset, the natural thing is to pick them up like this. And so you have to kind of condition yourself to grab them by the ear cups. And you'll adjust all your balances. But I cannot get over how good the Xbox headset sounds for 90 quid. For 90 quid, I saw one review and the guy was like, it's just all bass. And I was like, did you even bother to do anything with this? Because yes, out of the box, the bass is horrible on them. It's too much. It's just it's not. That's the wrong way to put it. The bass is good out of the box. There's just too much of it and nothing else. Once you EQ them correctly, that bass really falls into line with everything else, and you can get a nice, clean presentation. I don't think for the money you spend for the other two, being the Astros and the Steel series, there is a big enough gulf in the sound quality to justify it. The Steel series has the best mic of the bunch, then the Microsoft, then the Astros, and then the Portals. So I think so. If I had to be pushed on what you should buy, I would say buy yourself an Xbox headset for that, and then the Portal is probably my next choice, and then I would probably say Astro and then Steel series. There is a big caveat to that answer though, and most people who've clicked on this review probably want to know, should I buy a Portal because does it fit my needs? And my answer to you is this: the Portal is phenomenal if you want one headset that does absolutely everything really, really well, but you don't want the hassle of having multiple things that do it either exceptionally well or just well enough. So for example, if you want a music headset, if you're thinking, oh yeah, I don't have to buy a top-end music headset, I can just buy one of these. They won't sound as good as a top-end music headset. They still sound phenomenal. Let's be very, 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 very clear on that. They sound great. But if you spend the equivalent money on a set of headphones from either Apple or B&O, like I said, they're going to sound better. If you were to buy a top-end gaming headset, like an Audi's Penrose, they're probably going to sound better than these, but they are also of themselves 300 quid. And then you still have to buy your music headset, right? And it's a very tough thing. The Portals are wonderfully good, but they are a niche product, 100%. Now, I fit that niche perfectly, and I'm still in that, I'm not sure they're worth the £450. And this is a really tough call. I've laboured over this a lot, Craig. And I've sat here and I've been like, am I going to keep them? Am I not? And it's really, really, really tough call to make. But I think I've decided, for me, they're going to go back. They are a brilliant product, but they aren't quite good enough for me to do everything. And that's not to say you won't have the same experience. I know someone else who's got them who's extremely happy with them. I would like to point out I am super fussy. And quite often, if I had spent £200 on these, or let's say £300 on these, £350, in fact, I'll go £350 because I often say if they're 100 quid cheaper, it'd be a no-brainer. I'd keep them. If these were 350 quid, there would be no way I'd send them back. I'd be super happy with my purchase, super, super, super happy with my purchase. And let's face it, they would still be really expensive. But at £450, I've got to be honest with you and say they're brilliant. They aren't £450 brilliant, and I didn't think I would say that. I love them. They are the most comfortable headphones I've worn. To give you an idea of where I'm at right now, is I'm now at the point where I'm thinking they're so comfortable and I want a good music player headphones. I'm probably just going to swap them for a pair of B&O H10s, to be perfectly honest with you, and then just go buy an Xbox wireless headset for gaming with. Truth, that's kind of where my mind is at. I know I'll take a tangible drop on the Xbox side of things, but I think that's where I'm going to be at. I mean, it's so tough, but I cannot emphasize that Xbox for 90 quid, you could sell that. Microsoft could have put that up for £160 and it would still have seemed good value for money.
Yeah.
And I know Alan said this, and I'm going to just emphasize everything. If you haven't seen Alan's review, Alan goes far more in depth on the headset overall, like showing you more of it. I cannot get over how good they are for that money. And if you want a first, second, third, did I rate them all? I think I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Xbox top, Portal second. Then you've got the Astros. And the Steel Series.
Yeah.
They're all very, very good. And I suppose I'd be very, very clear on this. Like, they're all very, very good. There's a personal preference that comes into play on sound, which is always going to be something you can't get away from. I will like, less boomy bass than some other people. But that's going to be personal preference. But I will say, I cannot stress enough, that Xbox headset for 90 quid, do yourself a favor.
Yeah.
If you can get one, get one. They are so good.
I think... Yeah, I think that for me personally, there was no way I'd ever spent 450 quid on a set of headphones. Yeah. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not the audiophile. I appreciate good sound, but there's no way I would spend 450 quid on a pair of headphones.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you saying how great the Xbox headphone is any slight on the B&O headset.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
But it is a glowing recommendation for the Xbox headset.
Yeah.
Being the cheapest of the bunch. And the way that it's just as a complete package, the way it performs, I think Xbox seem to have done a really great thing with this. And I'm seriously considering getting a set myself. Actually,
I've got to be honest. Like I am. Exactly what you've said. I want to be very clear here. If you've got the 450 quid and you're absolutely fussy about audio, the Portals will devastate the Xbox headset. There's no question. So for people who've clicked on this review wanting that confirmation of the Portals will sound better, yes, they will, 100%. If you want confirmation that you want the best sounding Xbox connected wireless that connects directly with the Xbox and has Bluetooth as well, trust me, the Portals are fantastic. You will not regret them. I just can't quantify 450 quid for them. They're not quite that much money. And that, again, as you said, it's not a slight on the B&Os. They're still the best of the bunch. But there's a sticking point. And I know that B&O is a premium brand. And I know that that 100 quid just goes for a B&O label, etc. But you have to, I think I've been so critical of these because they're so much money. And that's just where I've got to. I've got to say though, like I say, you buy a set of these headphones, whichever ones they are, you'll be happy. They're all very, very good. It is just preference. Please don't come after me as a lynch mob.
Well, and on that, well, as our friend Mr. Clarkson would say, on that bombshell, it's time to end. Now, thanks very much for tuning in and having a listen to us waffle on about headphones. Well, particularly Chris go into huge detail. Thank you for that, mate.
Yeah, just if anyone does watch this and wants any further clarification, obviously my Twitter's like here. Feel free, send me a tweet or leave a comment on the video. I will absolutely respond and answer any questions you have about it. Like I say, it's just a personal opinion, just a personal take. But please, if you've got any questions about any of the headsets, I've had a good time to listen to all of them. I would love to engage and talk to people about it. So just hit me up for it.
Yeah. So kind of moving on from that, it was thanks for watching, and please, if you've liked what you've watched, give us a thumbs up. If you haven't, give us a thumbs down. So we still like to know what's going on with it. And if you could subscribe, that'd be fantastic. We're really trying to grow the channel, and it's had a bit of a leap recently, which is great. And also, if you want to hear when new stuff's coming out, we usually do 1 or 2 videos a week. Hit that little bell button, and we'll notify you when videos go up. So I guess all that is time to say goodbye. So bye from Ratley.
I'll be seeing you.
And a bye from me. See you later.